Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Holman. I'm a senior. I'm a double major in psych and business. Don't get freaked out. Double majors isn't really that hard. It's just a little bit more negotiating and stuff like that. And lo and behold, on Monday night, I was in my dorm room doing homework, doing the stuff. And Darius calls me. Darius calls me and he's like, hey, can you speak for proximity? And I was thinking like, yeah, I think I could maybe do that. And I was kind of freaking out for a second because I was like, okay, what am I going to talk about? How am I going to, get through this? And I came up with an idea and I was like, I really like this idea, but I didn't really know how to start it. In fact, I didn't really know how to start up until tonight. I was sitting in the pew, and when Kiara came up and started doing her poem, I realized how I wanted to start this. She talked about home and what home means and what it embodies. And for me, home embodies a lot of different things. And it embodies something that I'll describe by a story. I was here somewhat longer than most students. When break started, I was working. And so I was here for an extra 2 weeks, and it was a grueling 2 weeks. I was here with pretty much no one else on campus. I had a couple of friends that were working as well, but really I didn't have that many people to hang out with, and I was just kind of just getting through the job and doing it. And I was calling my mom, every couple of days and just kind of talking and hanging out, that kind of thing. And I was thinking, okay, I can tell my mom really wants me home right now. She really wants me to be there, but I'm working and I'm doing stuff and I've scheduled work and I have to be here for these certain things. How am I going to surprise her? I want to do something for her. So I called my dad up and I was like, hey, Dad, I feel like I want to come home early. I'm going to switch some shifts around. I'm going to work a little bit more right now so I can work a little bit less later. And I want to surprise Mom. He's like, oh, okay. When you come back? I was like, I think I was working on a Friday. I was like, I'll be home Friday night. Like, okay, what time are you going to be back? Probably like 4 a.m. He was like, oh, okay. So I had planned I was going to get off of work around 12. I was going to drive home, and I was going to be as quiet as I could as I was getting into the house. And luckily, I was able to do it. We have a really big dog at home. His name is Clifford, and he knows when someone's home. And so I had to sneak up the stairs to get into my room, to get into my bed, so that my parents didn't hear me and my mom didn't wake up. So drive home, get home, go up the stairs, really, really quietly, just trying to get up there. Get into bed. I'm like, okay, good, we made it. So I wake up around 9 because I knew my parents were going to be up. They were going to be watching a church service. I didn't know which one. So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go downstairs as quiet as I can, and I'm going to try to just say something to my mom. My dad knows I'm here, but I'm just going to try to say something to my mom and see her reaction because she was expecting me 3 days later. So I go downstairs, I'm walking down, I get to the kitchen, and I stand there and I say, Mom, I'm home. My mom is sitting on the couch and she quickly turns around and there's this her face is almost panicking, who just said that? And then she realizes it's me and she tears across the room and gives me one of the biggest hugs I've ever had and says, welcome home. And it wasn't just that 5-second hug. When you hug your parents and you haven't seen them in a while and they are just hugging you and almost taking some of the blood out of your veins and you're just kind of oh, okay. But at the same time, you're like, I'm home. I was so happy to be home and so happy to be in a space that I'm comfortable with, a space that I knew that I was comfortable just to be myself. Tonight we're going to be talking about this idea of home, but more specifically, your room. Your room has a couple of different things and means a couple of different things, but I'm going to try to revolve it around this concept of your room being your life. I think of my life, I imagine my life kind of like this set right here. There's certain things in the room, there's certain things there that represent things. And these things that it represents mean something to me in many different facets. And a lot of furniture and a lot of little things in the room represents the people in my life. So to give an example, let's use my glasses. Now, a lot of people that wear glasses, they're kind of blind without them. I'm not quite that blind. I can see people here, I can see my friends and stuff like that, and I can live my life without them. But with them, things are a lot more clear. I can really understand things better. I can glean different things from it. I can look at things in detail. And sometimes I think of my friends as my glasses. They are the way that I see the world. The people that I put around me are the way that I interpret the world. And they are super important to me. The people that I keep around me change how I think about things. And so I always want my friends to challenge me and challenge the way I'm looking and challenging the way I'm, evaluating things, because I always want to keep growing and I always want to keep moving. But that's just one aspect. That's just one thing in the room, my glasses, because it represents something. My friends make my life clearer. But there's so many other things in my room, right? There's a couch, there's some chairs, there's different things that represent different people. And as it represents different people, it also represents how we treat them. And I understand this is still really conceptual and it might be confusing, so please try to keep up with me. For me, I always want to make sure that the things that are in my room and the things that are in my life, I keep relevant. There's a couch. When I think of my room, there's a couch. There's a mantle, there's a fireplace, there's things on that fireplace, there's a coffee table, there's a lamp on the coffee table, and all those things represent something to me because they all play an important role in my life, right? And as they play an important role in my life, I use them on a daily basis. Now, I'm not saying I use my friends, but I interact with my friends. After a long day, I come home, I come to my room, and I sit down on my couch. And I know when I sit down that it's not just going to fall out from under me because I trust that couch. I trust who built it. I trust the things that went into it, the upholstery, the feathers, the this or the that. And when I sit down, I know that when I sit down, I can trust it. And that's how I view some of my friends. I know when I need something, when I sit down, I'm going to be okay. When I pick up a book and I start reading the book, I know what's going to be in the book, and I know that the story is going to be great because I know that the book I chose was a good book. The things you keep in your room are the things that affect the way you think. The friends that you have, the things that you keep around you affect who you are. And oftentimes, we have this trouble, or at least I had this trouble, my freshman year of college. I came into college and I was, super excited. I'm here, I'm really excited, I'm gonna meet new people, it's gonna be great. And I wasn't quite ready for it. I wasn't quite ready for the shift, and I didn't know that many people. I knew Andrews, I knew the atmosphere, but I didn't really know what to expect. So your freshman year, you have a lot of groups and things like that to get to know people, and throughout that, I met a lot of people. And I was like, oh, great, these are my friends, these are the people that I'm gonna spend the next 4 years with, this is gonna be great. And so I automatically started filling that room with that couch, with that chair, with that coffee table, with the different little things, because I was like, bet I can count on these things, this is gonna be great. Little did I know that that's not always how your freshman year goes. Your freshman year, you come in and you meet a lot of people and it's great, but everyone's trying to figure out who they are and what they're doing and where they're going and who fits into that room and who fits into theirs. So as that shuffle is happening, you're having friends coming in and they're having friends coming out of your room. And so as friends are coming into my life and going out of my life, there's this constant shift, and my mental space isn't great. I don't have time to become comfortable with my space, become comfortable with my life and who I am, because I don't have a solid base of friends. So I'm trying to find people that I know I can rely on. It takes time. It actually takes a long time, up until probably the tail end of my sophomore year, when I start to realize who the real people are. And throughout that process, my room was constantly shifting. There were things going out. There was a couch there, it rearranged, it was somewhere else. There was a chair over there, it rearranged, there was something else. And each time it changed, I had to take a second and I had to breathe and be comfortable with what I was looking at, being comfortable with who I was, and being comfortable with the things that were in my room, with the people that I was around. And a lot of times we have these issues where when we have a friend or we have a family member, or we have something that goes into our room and then quickly comes out of our room, that we feel like we have to fill that void. Maybe it's a relationship, right? You get into a relationship, it's great, and then it's not. And so you're automatically like, oh crap, now I have this void and I feel like I need to fill it. And so many people fill it with a lot of different things, but you automatically try to fill it because you think that's going to make it feel better for you. And you don't take a second to breathe and be like, okay, who am I without this person in my life? Am I comfortable with who I am? Am I comfortable with what I'm doing? And as we do that, and as we shift throughout our lives, how many times do we actually take a second to understand who we are and what our room is filled with? Are we taking a second throughout the shifts to be comfortable with it, to be comfortable with who we have there and who's going out and who's coming in? I was at home during the summer, and I don't remember, it was maybe midsummer. It was like 9 o'clock, I got up, I went outside, I was sitting on the back porch. It was about 9:30, I'm sitting there for a little while, and my mom comes out on the porch. And at that time, it was probably like 70 degrees out. It was starting to get warm for the morning, and so I'm starting to get a little hot. My mom's sitting there, but I am like thinking. I am like in my deep thinking space, trying to figure out how I feel about some stuff. My mom comes and sits down, and she's like, what's going on? Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. You want to talk about it? Yeah, sure. So I start talking about it. And what I start talking about is this idea of my friends and the people that I keep around me coming in and out of my life. I had decided over the summer that I was going to start to push to graduate early. And graduating early means that I have one less semester with the people that I've started to grow really close to. And so as I'm thinking about this and trying to decide, I'm running through these things with my mom. I'm like, Mom, I want my relationships to be solid so that when I graduate, when I leave, that these people aren't just going to scatter, and that I actually have people that I know I can call on and I know I can talk to no matter what, because that's what matters to me. So I'm running through this, and it's not like a 10-minute conversation. I am like 100 miles an hour, just like breezing through information and hoping my mom keeps up. She's listening, and I'm saying that, Mom, I don't want the time that I spend with people, all the energy and all the things that I really, really care about and all the people that I've put all my energy into, to just go away in like 10 years just because we never talked. I want to build the relationships that are solid in there because that's what matters to me, and people matter. My mom is listening, and she's listening. She stops me mid-sentence and says, it's okay, to like have phases in life. And I'm like, Mom, what are you saying? And she's like, there's going to be times in your life and people in your life, they're going to come and go. There's going to be people at a specific moment in your life that you guys are going to be the closest you could ever be. They are going to be a centerpiece of your room. They're going to be like the thing that you need at that time. And then in a couple minutes, maybe not minutes, years, whatever it happens to be, they're not going to be there. And that's okay. Everyone has crossing paths going. And sometimes those paths line up for your entire life. Sometimes they don't. But you need to make sure that whatever time you have with those people, the people that you care about and the people that you love, that you cherish those moments. They might not be there forever, but that doesn't mean that they weren't something to you and that they didn't actually help you in some way. And I'm listening and I'm thinking, okay, yeah. But that still kind of negates a lot of the energy that I'm putting in. And so we kind of finish up the conversation, and I keep thinking about this concept. And I start to relate it to my room, to my life. There's going to be pieces of furniture in your room that you're going to have to rearrange and going to have to move around. Because do you want to be a stagnant person? I'm someone that I hope me standing here today, the person that I am today, is not the same person that is going to be standing somewhere else tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day after that. And that whoever meets me today and then happens to meet me 5 years from now is going to see maybe not a completely different person, but someone that has grown. And to achieve that, I have to constantly learn, constantly change how my room looks, how it's shaped, and all of those little different things. So that means I'm going to have to add and subtract things from my room, add and subtract people from my room as they come and they go, because not everyone is going to be there when you need them, but you can always have certain things that are mainstays. As I grow and as I change, I want you guys to do the same. The person you are today, are you going to be the same person tomorrow? The same person after that? I was trying to think of like bullet points. I'm like, okay, well, I want to hit this when I'm talking. I want to hit that when I'm talking. I haven't hit a lot of them, but I want you guys to understand something. Are there things in your life, in your room, that you're neglecting? Are there people in your life that they've always been super important to you, but they no longer are? There's that seat in the corner, and it looks great in the room. It really fits the ambiance. Like, man, it just like looks really good in that corner, but you never, ever sit in it. You have that friend that's really, really nice, but you never talk to them. And it's not because they're boring or that you just don't care about them. It's just like, I just don't have time. But I want them in my room. Is there people in your life that you're neglecting just because you're busy? There's this concept that I have it's a centerpiece. And a centerpiece in your room, in your life, sometimes changes, sometimes doesn't. And I usually think of my centerpiece as a lamp. I mentioned it before. It usually sits like middle of the table, and whatever that object represents, whatever that lamp represents, changes the entire room. You can have a lamp sitting in your room. If you never turn it on, what's the use of it? Right? It's just sitting there, but until you actually flip that switch, it really just kind of looks like an object. But the moment you flip that switch, everything changes. Everything about it changes. The whole room changes because it changes the lighting. It changes how the light reflects off of that window and then how it hits something else. And just the flip of a switch changes the entire room and changes how you feel. I have this lamp in my dorm room, and it sits at a little tiny coffee table next to the TV. And you can turn off all the lights in the dorm room, but turn on that lamp, and you can see everything in the room. It's a really warm and inviting lamp, and I love it. I think my grandma got it for me 5-7 years ago. And I remember looking at it being like, oh my goodness, this is like A lamp, thanks, I got it for my birthday. And I turned it on and I was like, oh my goodness, this lamp is gonna be like in every single room I have. But if I never turned it on, what was the point in having it? I've talked about friends, I've talked about family, and I'm talking about kind of what it means to have your mental space in your home and being comfortable with that. But what is your centerpiece in your room? Is God your centerpiece? What does it happen to be? I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to figure out what my centerpiece is because it's really hard to decide every single day that I'm going to turn on that lamp, to decide that I'm going to actually physically go there and turn on that lamp so I can change who I am and change my life and change what it looks like. It doesn't take that much effort to sit there and turn it on, but it changes everything. Just like every single thing in your room matters, that lamp matters just as much. What's your centerpiece? What is actually driving your room? And when someone, let's say, visits your room, are you ashamed of it? Are you like, oh shoot, I gotta hide this thing. I really gotta hide this and I really don't want people to see it. Do you turn it on when they come over? Or do you turn it off? What are you doing? I'm not saying I have the answer because I don't. I'm trying to figure out what that means for me, and I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you guys. What is my centerpiece in my life? What is driving me? Is it God? Because I can sit here and I can talk about it, but if I don't do anything about it, what's the point? I hope that every single day when I wake up and hope that tomorrow I'm going to be a different person, that I actually sit there and go and turn on that lamp because it actually means something and it's changing me. And that when someone happens to come over, that I'm not just like, like I'm just going to hide that. That they can tell that who I am is different. That the emotions I emit and the things that I give is different because I turned on something that someone else had never seen. I know it's going to be hard. I'm going to be honest. I get up really late in the morning. I've made sure I've pushed my classes to like 10:30. I will sleep as long as I can. Oh my gosh, I love sleep. And because I push it so far, I kind of forget to do a lot of things. Sometimes I'll forget to eat breakfast because I'm like, well, it's already like 10:30. Like, I can just wait till lunch. I'll probably save some money anyway. I start to derail my own day just because I get up late. But what if I actually sit down and decide, you know what? I'm going to get up early. I'm going to turn on my lamp. I'm actually going to use it for something. I mean, what's in the song? Hide it under a bushel? What are you guys going to do? Are you going to turn on your lamp? Are you going to turn on your centerpiece? Are you going to be proud of what it is? Are you going to be comfortable with your room? Are you going to stop neglecting those friends and the things that actually matter? I'm sure going to try. Because if I don't, I'm just the same person. I don't know if any of you really, really needed to hear that or not, but I know I did. So get up tomorrow. Maybe a little bit earlier than you normally do. Sure, it sucks. Trust me, I know. But get up a little bit earlier. Turn on your lamp. Text that friend. Call your mom. I don't know. Whatever it happens to be. Make sure you're comfortable with your room and the centerpiece that's in it.